Oklahoma City tonight. Celtics in Indiana. Initial thoughts on the way this series will play out, regardless of who has home court.
You know what? I feel like the Celtics, the last time they played each other, and Kyrie had that just staple of a game. I think that now in Indiana, you have to come back and bounce back and get a quality win, and that's going to be tough. You know, you don't have Darren Collison, you get Wesley Matthews back, but you need Collison out there because no Oladipo out for the year, and someone else is going to have to step up in a major way.
This team is, speaking of the Pacers, has become an elite defensive team, but offensively, you just wonder if they have enough to extend the series against Boston. Leaving aside Boston's issues, you just wonder if Indiana has enough offensively.
It wouldn't matter who they play. You'd wonder the same thing because of the losses, obviously. Victor Oladipo not being available is the biggest thing. But I got to give Bogdanovich credit, and some of those other guys, they've stepped up. But taking it up to that next level in the postseason is a completely different animal. And Nate McMillan's done a fantastic job of convincing these guys to play on a string on the defensive end. But you can't replicate talent you just don't have offensively. Right. You don't have a guy like Oladipo, an all-star, a 20-point-a-night scorer. There really is no way of replacing that at this stage of a season.
Yeah, I think your margin of error, what you're talking about, Sekou, it just goes down significantly. So seeing where they're at, Coach Nate McMillan done a remarkable job losing Victor Oladipo, the other guys stepping up by committee. But that's going to be a huge, hurdle to get over, with the Boston Celtics and the way that they're playing. They have their closers, and they're resting, and they're getting ready for the stretch of the playoff run.
Bogdanovich has been really good since Oladipo left the lineup. And who knows, maybe he proves all of us wrong, but he does not fit the profile at this stage of his career of a guy who's going to close playoff games for a really good postseason team. Let's get our nightly check on where you think Boston is at right now after sweeping the home and home against the Miami Heat.
Let me check the Bunsen burners and, the table. I mean, look, I've been talking about it all season long. This is a chemistry, problem for the Boston Celtics, not a talent issue. We all know how much talent they have. Can this group get it together and get on the right accord long enough in the postseason to ride back to the conference finals is the only lingering question they have. Right. We know what the talent, situation is. They have as much as anybody. Even with the moves made at the deadline in Philadelphia, other places, Milwaukee, whatever they've done, the most talented team on paper in the Eastern Conference, to me, remains the Boston Celtics. Whether or not all of that talent fits,
right?
And I'm talking about quality of depth, not just your first five guys.
Right.
I'm talking top to bottom. Can you get it all to fit in time to make sure you give yourself an opportunity to compete to get back to the conference finals? If not, then you have to go back and look at that season, like I said, and start going, where could we have done something different to get this group moved along sooner? But if they get it right, they got the closer that nobody else in the East has. Absolutely. Nobody else has made plays in a championship situation, maybe other than Kawhi Leonard, the way Kyrie Irving has. So they've got the one guy who could be the difference maker.
Oh, so you're saying anything less than the conference finals or the NBA finals underachieving?
I think anything less than getting back to the conference finals was going to be underachieving for them.
Yeah.
Because, you can never guarantee yourself getting beyond that point. You don't know what the season will hold. Nobody saw Milwaukee coming.
And they'd already reached the conference finals.
And they've done this
paper got better, right?
Exactly.
They got better
healthier.
in terms of got healthier.
Well, just got healthier.
All-stars.
Yes.
Right.
But I think, the finger pointing, and I don't know if it's a sinister thing, but the finger pointing will start in Boston if they get knocked out early, because we're going to ask ourselves, whose fault was it, or whose responsibility was it that this team didn't get back there? Was it something that Danny Ainge did or didn't do? Did Brad Stevens overestimate the natural course of things, accelerating the process for these guys without pushing? Was it Kyrie's fault? All of the things that have been in those crosshairs. This isn't, for all the teams that think they have pressure on them going into the playoffs, Boston has as much as anybody in the league.
It might be Danny Ainge's fault ultimately for doing the thing that he's been praised for the last few years, and that's gathering all these assets and putting them on the same roster.
When I had a chance to talk to Coach Brad Stevens in San Francisco, the thing that I still felt was the problem was they didn't identify the talent in vertical order. Right. Obviously, that Kyrie is the top of the food chain, and he got he has to be the ultimate closer. But that number 2 guy, just in my mind, when you're talking about battle tested and all these things, I would say Al Horford has to be that guy.
Yeah.
You can put the ball in his hand. He's not going to be. He's so selfless.
He's going to
make the right play in every possession. And then the other guys don't have that much pressure on their shoulders. You were talking about Tatum and Brown. They can just go out there and kind of freelance. And then Gordon Hayward coming off the bench, he can still work his way in, whether he has one of those out-of-body performances or if he's just, a traditional, double-figure guy for that night. So I think that has to be said and understood going into the playoffs.
It's funny. I don't have a high degree of confidence about this, but when I look at all the contenders in the East, I still can't pick against the Celtics based on what's on the roster, the versatility, the depth, the closer, all of that.
Well, when you got He-Man out there,
with all the chemistry things.
the Giannis, He-Man is playing at another level right now.
Great.
He accounts for like 3 guys. Like it's almost equivalent to LeBron.
3 people.
Yeah, it really is. Like he's equivalent to LeBron and what he did in the Eastern Conference for years. He just doesn't have the resume to back it yet, but you've seen LeBron with the Toronto Raptors. You had Kyle Lowry, you had Serge Ibaka, you had DeRozan, and LeBron was outplaying the 3 best players on every team, night in and night out, and he's done it for all those years. So I think Giannis is capable of doing that.
Might prove to be that guy. We'll find out soon.
The beauty of the NBA playoffs is April 13th. The slate is wiped clean. Whatever Boston's issues were
0-0
before that game 1 of that first-round series, nobody cares because they can get in the playoffs, blow people's doors off, and get right back to the conference finals.
And maybe that resets them, and whatever's been happening all season, maybe poof,
exactly
just disappears.